I begin in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. All praise belongs to Him, and all of us have to return to Him. The topic of our discussion today is Let Me Empower Myself. Thank you very much, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, present physically and online. Children, the poet says, मोहब्बत मुझे उन जवानों से है, सितारों पे जो डालते हैं कमंद. The youth to whom the stars are not out of bounds are the ones I love indeed. And with that message, I wish to begin our discussion today. Another message, girls and boys, which I wish to give to you today on the basis of my long experience is that in a gentle way you can shake the world. Within the Constitution of India, within the four corners of morality, within all the four corners of the rule of law, in a gentle way you can shake the world. Children, we have been given a book and we must read it and understand it. Not only read but understand it. And understand it with the help of not only simple translation but also with explanatory commentaries, and there is no doubt of that. So every morning for 15 minutes, kindly just pick up one line from the book and try to understand the message given therein with the help of one of the good commentaries. Okay? So we must understand the message, and with that only we will be able to imbibe the message in ourselves. Children, we are aware that we have 5 articles of faith. The first one is obviously kalima or shahada, and we are aware that that is for us the umbilical cord, that is in Hindi known as garbhnal or habal-e-suri. So that is the first one. While kalima is the umbilical cord that connects us to our Creator, the Almighty, there are 4 other pillars. Okay, so these are, we know, namaz, zakat, roza and hajj. These are the 4 remaining articles of faith. So I have made a short form of that, NZRH, namaz, zakat, roza, hajj. But from NZRH, life begins. The general impression is that life ends there, that the religion ends there. No, religion begins from there. That's only the foundation, the skeleton. So my dear children, in 11.7, that is chapter 11 and verse number 7 in the Holy Quran, God says, لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Here God is explaining what is his purpose of creating humanity. And he says that the purpose is so that he tests among ourselves as to who is more righteous. And righteousness here means, according to convergence of opinion of various commentators, that a person's willingness to utilize his or her God-gifted time, assets, resources, and love, and of course whatever income he has. So all those resources, his or her willingness to utilize a substantial portion of these for making another person's life more comfortable. That test is the purpose of creating humanity. So children, I am now showing to you here some photographs, a couple of them. This is a court for a sport. This is a carom board, as we all know. So the main purpose of games and sports is to develop and sharpen the physical and intellectual well-being. The boundaries are marked and rules are made to steer the game. That is the purpose. Similarly, the purpose of NZRH, Namaz, Zakat, Roza and Hajj, has been clarified by God, as I mentioned to you in 11.7. That is the purpose of creation. That is the purpose. Same is the purpose of these four instrumentalities. These are the instrumentalities only. These are not the end of the faith. These are the articles of faith, which are the instrumentalities to carry forward the purpose of life. So what is more important is that when we are performing two consecutive prayers, two consecutive worships if we are performing, so between those two consecutive worships, when we are not doing the worship, what are we doing? So that decides how much our worship is liked by our Creator. Like if I am very much confident that I'm liked by my Creator because I go to the mosque and I pray 5 times a day in congregation, then I must understand that according to the divine scheme, I must understand that the value of my namaz is determined by my Creator on the basis of the goodness of the work that I do when I am out of the mosque between two prayers. In 2.58, God has clarified that He likes sajda, that is prostration, as an expression of thanks to Him. It is during the sajda only, that is the only position when the heart is physically above the mind. So that's important, please think it through. As I mentioned to you a short while ago, that we must not only read the book, but we should try to understand the message that is there with the help of commentaries. So I'm giving you an instance, an example here, that daily we utter the words of Rahman and Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen and Rahman and Rahim, so many times. So we simply translate it as Rahman and Rahim as the most beneficent, the most merciful. But really there is a lot of difference between them. So there is a lot to know about these two particular attributes of the Creator. So that we can understand only with the help of commentaries. Similarly, the book also mentioned the phrase kun fayakun, which means we know that when God wishes that this thing should be done, so he just says kun and the work is done. So that is known as kun fayakun. Be and it is done. See, God need not do that, but then we are the human beings. So therefore, in order to make us understand in our own sense of understanding, this is mentioned there. In any case, kun fayakun is an epithet, is a terminology which is very important to understand, and usually it is not fully understood. So kun fayakun actually carries the message of power of creation. And on another place in the book, God says that he has instilled in each one of us his own spirit. So therefore it is our duty, each one of us is duty bound, that we should do our best to imbibe some of the portions of the qualities of God, including the power of creation. Kun fayakuniyat is the power of creation. Likewise, in 2.60, God says, فَقُلْ نَضْرِبْ بِعَصَاكَ الْحَجَرَ. When Moses, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, had prayed to God that my people are thirsty, so kindly provide water for them. If God would have so wished, he would have simply created water for them. But he didn't do that. What he did? He told Moses that you have got a rod, aapke haath mein danda hai, hit it on the rock, isko chattan par maro. And he did that. Moses did that. After that, 12 chashme, 12 streams of water came out, and Moses had 12 tribes, and सबने खूब अच्छी तरह से, they had their fill, okay, अच्छी तरह से पानी पी लिया. So what is the message? The message is that before praying to God, he likes that we should do whatever is possible by ourselves. Like whatever, we have got 4 limbs, we have got a brain, we have got capacity to think and analyze, we have capacity to do physical work, and we have got some resourcefulness also, each one of us. Utilizing all that, I should do whatever best I can do, and then pray to God, then he likes it. Otherwise he can accept our prayers without us doing all that, but then he likes that we should do whatever is possible at our end, and then pray to him. That's the message. I love my country, and that is the mandate of my faith also. You know that? It is mentioned in the faith that wherever you are living, you must love that place, you must obey the rules, you must obey the constitution. Okay? That is an article of faith. That brings us to the Constitution of India. Okay? We must love the Constitution of India, we must obey the Constitution of India, but for that, we must understand what is the Constitution of India. So, those of us who are not having a copy of the Constitution of India, we must have a possession of the Constitution of India with ourselves. And these days it's very easy. Go online. I'm showing you here an app. So all of you are having some device or the other. So you can download this app, the Constitution of India app, okay, and keep on checking and reading and analyzing, etc. That way you will be quite adept with the contents of the Constitution of India. The English word fuse, to fuse means to join or become combined with. From that we get the noun which is known as fusion. So when two elements are joined together, it creates a fusion. That's why in the first slide I had shown to you two photographs on either side, on top of left and right. So one was of the Taj Mahal and the other was of one of the buildings in which the government of India is located, the North Block. So what we are under mandate to do is to create a fusion between the two. Deen and Dunya both have to be together. This is what is also known as mosaic, jadau kam, pachikari work. So we have to create a mosaic. Children, we are now in a way in a post-corona period of our life. During this post-corona period in our life, there is a paradigm shift in the world. Let us recapitulate. Our self-pride needs a break. Let us not waste precious time. Every individual has to reorient herself or himself. Each one of us has to ponder over the minutest details of these post-corona changes and make the required adjustments in personal life. Now, most of the work will have to be done by oneself. Now I am switching over to another segment of my presentation. Children, I am going to show you some pictures. Please watch these carefully. Whatever you have seen, please give it a name. I call it a beautiful world. Children, now I am showing you another set of pictures. Now children, give these photographs together also a name, whatever you have seen. I would call it enjoyment of life. Children, those who are listening to me, who are capable in life of reaching out to this presentation, all of you can surely achieve the pleasure of life, the enjoyment of life, etc. that I have shown to you. Okay? But how about her? How about him? And him? And him? My dear children, please think about it carefully. The message that I have to give to you is that you can change your world for the better, and you can also change their world for the better. Children, the bad news is that time is running fast. But the good news is that you are the pilot. You can decide how high to fly and where to fly to. Children, this is a small chapter, surah, of our holy book, the Holy Quran, which many of us recite as a part of our daily prayers. And because it's a small surah, and very often we recite among other small surahs. It says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, wal asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. So what are the meanings? The meanings are that man, that a human being, is in loss except those who believe in the oneness of Almighty and who do good deeds. That's what I wanted to emphasize here. God here is not saying that man is in loss unless he or she believes in the oneness of Almighty and offers namaz and fasts during the Ramadan, performs Hajj, pays zakat. God is not saying. He's saying, and who does good deeds. So children, you have to decide at your age what are the good deeds that you are required to do. And I feel that if you remain devoted to your hard work for studies, learning and learning and learning, okay, fruitfully learning, at the same time be a good human being in the world, helping out others also. So that is your good deed. I have to take you, children, to Article 16(1) of the Constitution of India, which says that there shall be equality of opportunity for all the citizens in matters relating to employment or appointment under the government. Okay? I have written here in the state, that is the wording of the Constitution. But the state does not mean here province. The state means all the wings of the government, vertically as well as horizontally. That is judiciary and legislature, the executive, the central, the state, the provincial, the local level, district level, village level, everything included. So there is equality of opportunity for being appointed to any position in the government. That's what the Constitution of India guarantees us. So in this background, the message that I have to give to you is that fate can be changed. Okay? Fate can be changed. That is my message to you, and that's what is the crux of all faith also. Destiny is for losers. It is just a stupid excuse to wait for things to happen instead of making them happen. That's the difference. Don't wait for things to happen. Take steps to make things happen. That is the message. Children, a friend of mine, Sardar Surendrajit Singh, from my hometown of Bahraich, so he writes to me every day a very good saying from which you can take a lot of good lessons from life. So one of his messages reads as follows. He says, sea is the same for all. Some take pearls, some take fish, and some come out just with wet legs. The lesson is that life is common for all, and we get what we try for. And there is something hidden also. There is a promise also here that whatever you try for, you will get it in some way or the other. Children, I have to tell you that you can change these lines. It's up to you, each one of you. The poet says in Persian language, Tu agar digar shavi, u digarast. If you decide to change, that becomes your fate. So the conditionality here is perseverance. जिंदगी में मुस्तकिल तौर पर ज़मीनी तगोदाओ, निरंतर प्रयत्न. So perseverance is the condition. For that purpose, each one of you has to plunge in the sea, battle with the waves, because success is won in strife. If you decide to lie down on the bank in cool breeze on a pillow, listening to light music, that's not going to do any good to yourself or to the community. So what you have to do instead is plunge in the sea, battle with the waves. Success is won in strife. Children, please think what is the concept of a nuclear family. In Hindi we call it Mool Parivar, in Urdu we call it Infiradi Khandan. So what is a nuclear family? A nuclear family consists of yourself, your siblings, brother and sister, your parents. That is your nuclear family. Okay? And nuclear family is very, very important, definitely. But children, your world does not finish at your nuclear family. That is an important institution of life, nuclear family, but it's not end all and be all of life. In fact, the nuclear family is only the first orbit, that is the Pehla Daira, and it is everybody's natural habitat. It is Fitri Basera for everybody. But there are other orbits also, other than nuclear family. The extended family, which includes all your cousins also, in addition to your parents and siblings, it also includes all your cousins, all your uncles, aunties, etc. So anybody who is related to you by birth or by marriage, so that is included in the extended family. Then the next orbit for you in the world is your neighborhood. And neighborhood consists of 40 houses in each direction, north, south, east and west. So total 160 houses around your house is your neighborhood. And neighborhood, when you are traveling, are your co-travelers. When you are in the class, are your class fellows. When you are in the market and walking there, then other people walking there, they constitute your neighborhood. So it's a bigger concept. Then the society in general is another orbit. The region in which you are living is one more orbit. The province of your country in which you are living is yet another orbit. The nation, which is so dear to all of us. The faith and the deen to which we subscribe, that is one more orbit. The community to which we belong, yet one more orbit, yes. Our continent in which our nation falls, that is, yes, definitely, surely one more orbit. And the entire world is surely one more orbit for each one of us. So children, you have a multi-orbit relationship with the world, multi-orbit relationship in your life. So keeping that in mind, you have to have a vision which is in consequence with so many multiplicity of orbits of your relationship in this world. I'm showing a photograph to you. You have to think what it is. And yes, it is telescope. You have rightly thought about it. So in that perspective, children, we have to realize the year in which we are living. Currently, we are living in 2022. My advice is that we are currently in 2022, but your vision should include 2122. That is 100 years from now. 2222, 200 years. 2322, 300 years. At least that much of the vision. Both boys and girls, please. Now, before proceeding further, I wish to share with you what is the Islamic concept of a sound heart, qalb salim. In Arabic and in other languages, it's known as qalb salim. So the sound heart, I'm going to explain to you. Please be with me. In the holy book of Quran, 26.88 and 89, God says, يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالًا وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. That is, on the day of judgment, your wealth or your family will not be of help. Yes, what can help you is your sound heart, qalb salim. Now, what is this qalb salim? Qalb salim, okay, sound heart. So, the poet of the East, Dr Syed Mahmood, he says in Persian, Mase khami ki daram az muhabbat ki miya sazam ki farda chun rasam pesh to azman ar mogha khahi. O Lord, you gave me a heart of crude copper. With my love for your creatures I am trying to convert it into gold so that when I meet you tomorrow on the day of judgment, I can present it to you as a gift. So that is the concept of sound heart, working throughout life substantially, utilizing one's own resourcefulness for making another person's life more comfortable. So that makes the heart golden. Children, the same concept has been given by the Prophet, peace be upon him, when he said, Al-Faqru Fakhri, which means I take pride in keeping myself artificially deprived. Artificially deprived means that God has blessed me with so much resourcefulness. I have time, resources, assets, income, and love so much as compared to many others. But I am not going to utilize the whole of that for myself only. Some part of that I am going to use for others. So to that extent, I am going to keep myself artificially deprived. That is Al-Faqru Fakhri. So, with these pearls of advice and acting thereupon continuously, my dear children, you can choose to be the future of India. And only one district is not yours. Whatever number of districts, perhaps there are around 750 as of today in our great nation. So you equally belong to each one of them. The poet has said, चाहे तो बदल डाले हैयत चमनिस्तां की, ये हस्ती ये बीना है, दाना है तवाना है. If they so wish, they can alter the parameters of the world. The human beings are blessed with correct perception, unfailing intelligence, and long-lasting energy. And if we don't do all this, then God has said already in 13.11, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. So, my dear children, the way out for empowering myself is intelligent, well-planned, systematic, benevolent, strong, continuous effort. Now for your recapitulation, I am showing to you here the photograph of an anchor, which is also known as kamand. That when you have to climb a mountain, which is very high, then you tight a strong rope at the bottom of this anchor, and with full force you throw it upwards. There it goes somewhere and gets stuck very strongly. So you can hold the rope and you can climb. That is anchor. Anchor is also known as kamand. So as I said earlier also, मोहब्बत मुझे उन जवानों से है सितारों पे जो डालते हैं कमंद. I love those children who throw the anchor on the stars. So you have to throw the anchor on the star. So you have to reach the highest pinnacle in your life, higher than what you can imagine today. You are the leaders and rulers of tomorrow. Prepare well today. Children, what is the need of the hour? Changing of the form or nature of a thing or person into a different one. Is known as metamorphosis. So each one of us will have to undergo this metamorphosis. That is the need of the hour. We need to develop and cultivate very good relationship with people of different faiths. I'm going to explain to you the concept of khudi, that is selfhood, which has been propounded by Dr Syed Mahmood, who composed Sare Jahan Se Achha Hindostan Hamara. Selfhood, that is khudi, consists of, number one, self-reliance, number two, self-respect, number three, self-confidence, number four, self-preservation, and number five, self-assertion. And power to stick to the cause of truth, justice, and call of duty. Even in the face of apparent danger. So children, khudi, that is selfhood, is a silent force within each one of us, which is anxious to come into action. Children, please make the habit of reading a newspaper at least for 1.5 hours every day. Make 2 registers related to newspaper reading and put page numbering and indexing in the beginning in each one of the registers. And in one register, which should be a little thicker, write the summary of whatever you have written on a particular day and post it in alphabetical order of the subject matter. In the other register, you have to write the meanings of the words which you have learned fresh today by reading the newspaper, and that you should know with the help of dictionary, Oxford Dictionary or Cambridge Dictionary, or there are other authentic dictionaries online available. The National Council for Educational Research and Training, NCERT, publishes books. So the books from classes 6 to 12 for science, mathematics, social studies and English. These 28 books you have to not only read, you have to cram. Okay? So the basics should be on your fingertips. Please decide that I will speak in English from today. Of course, your mother tongue is definitely dear to you, and that can never be separated. That will always remain closest to your heart. But if you also speak and express yourself in proper English language, that gives you an edge over many others in the world. The poet says, if you opt to be dust, you will disappear in thin air. But if you decide to be stone, you can break the biggest glass. For general studies, please buy a book of general studies for competitive examinations, and perhaps one of the best is Tata McGraw-Hill's, that is TMH. Alternatively, you can also buy the General Studies Manual of Pearson. Children, what is an acronym? It is the short form of a few words, like UNO stands for United Nations Organization. So UNO is an acronym of United Nations Organization. So one of the techniques for preparing for competitive examinations is that you can make acronyms. Like when I was preparing for a competitive examination for the fundamental rights given in the Constitution of India at that time, I had made this acronym of FRSEPCOR. So children, form yourselves into groups of 10-15 each or even less. Meet once a week, discuss what you have read, learn from each other. Let a senior mentor the group. Remember, the possessor of a sound heart puts to test his power by entering into big adventure. So girls and boys, get going. Never trust your fears. They don't know your strength. The only way to make your dreams come true is to wake up. The poet says, "दयारे इश्क में अपना मुकाम पैदा कर, नया ज़माना नए सुबह शाम पैदा कर." Create your own space in the domain of your love of God. Dayar Ishq means love of God's domain, the domain of love of God. So in that domain, create your own space. Create new morning, new evening. Okay? You can create everything new. You are a big creator, big adventurer. So keep visiting zakatindia.org, and you can also write for seeking any further advice, making any observations at info@zakatindia.org. God bless you.